You doing this fine day? Welcome to Webinar Wednesday on Thursday. A little something a little bit different today. I wonder if the rest of the week is going to I'm going to miss out on a day. All of a sudden, my rhythm, my circadian rhythms or whatever they are thrown off because we do Webinar Wednesday so often. And now it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. Yeah, it's definitely going to put some confusion in the
confusion in me. So how the heck are y'all doing? This is April and my second live stream today. We went live earlier today on Facebook. We're going to be going live every day for the next 23 days on Facebook. Yes. So as we're promoting, we'll be talking about it. It's around the B School promotion, and we've got a whole new Facebook pop-up group, which we'll be telling you all about here as well today. But we're so thrilled that you are joining us here for Webinar Wednesday, where we're going to have a peek behind the curtains of an online business. It's kind of online business month here at WW118, as we're going to be talking a lot about the world of online business. We're engaged in we're going to be helping launch Marie Forleo's B School as it starts at the end of this month. And for our community, especially for the baby boomers out there, I think that this is just a terrific opportunity, and the time is right for us to be really examining the world of online business, which increasingly, as I spend time talking about it, I'm recognizing is not just online business, it's all business. There's almost no business that's not touched or not impacted by the online world, or very few. And understanding the structure and understanding the rules and the infrastructure of an online business just benefits almost all of us. So it's a relevant topic. The time is right. So many of us are looking for side hustles, to reinvent ourselves, or to grow our existing business. So we are. It is a good time. In April, are you exhausted because I'm working you extra hard?
No, I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
you're just soaking in it. So tell us the truth. Are you exhausted? What did you tell me as we came to air today?
So, hey Navi, it's good to see you. So it's just I started my day early today, and I just realized literally as we were getting on the webinar that I have my shirt inside out today.
Now, do you dress in the dark?
It was early. Yeah, no, it was early today. I think
I'll often get dressed and not turn on the light so it's not going to disturb Shannon. So occasionally I end up wandering around the house with my shirt on inside out.
In my defense though, this shirt, it's not like I can see.
I have no idea. I've never worn it. I think that's a blouse. It's not a shirt, is it?
It's a blouse, but yeah. So I really wouldn't know unless I went to do. Anyways,
fair enough. But anyway,
yeah, it must have been a good party. It was no party.
So this will be a regular webinar as far as our Webinar Wednesdays goes, other than the fact it's on Thursday. I pre-recorded the demo that we'll be having, and if this is your first time with us, each week here at WW118, we give a tutorial webinar of some sort or another on content marketing, on productivity. In this case, it's going to be on online business, and we deliver those free, and they are supported through the generosity of our patrons. We have a crowdfunding site at Patreon. If you want to drop by and visit us, it's at patreon.com/WW118. And the generosity of our patrons, who we want to say hello and thank you so much for your support, is the reason that we're able to be on the air. So we're crowdfunded and supported through their generosity, but there are perks, and our patrons get all sorts of additional benefits and perks, as well as the content that we deliver, including an archive of all of these webinars. This is our 117th, 100 something like that. 118th Webinar Wednesday. Yeah. We have 118 webinars in the Webinar Wednesday archives, which are tutorials on all of our different topics, and they are available to all of our patrons. If you're just joining us and you're not a patron, this replay will be available for 48 hours after we send it out to you tomorrow. We'll send you an email with the link. And then after that, we archive it for our patrons, and you're welcome to share it with others. Look at it as many times as you want, but then after 48 hours, it goes away, except for the patrons. So that is the details. Now, I'm going to be going through a lot of different tools and stuff when we're taking a look at how we run our business today. Don't worry about having to write them all down. I have an email that I'll be sending you tomorrow with the replay that has links to all of the different tools we use. And I have a vested interest in sending you that link because some of the tools we are affiliates for, but I will send you links with all of the different tools that we use and all of the different resources that we're going to be covering today. So don't worry about writing it down. You can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the webinar as we go through. As I said, we pre-recorded the main part of the demo today, and this demo, this day today, it really marks the beginning of a very special month for us here at WW118, because as I mentioned off the top, we are going to be helping to promote B School, which comes from our friend Marie Forleo, who it's a terrific training on running and building your own online business. But we're going all in this month. So we are going to be live streaming and talking and teaching every single day in a special pop-up Facebook group that we've created. We're going to be live streaming into it, and I'll get April to drop the links in. We're calling it the B School Boot Camp, and it is specifically designed for baby boomers and Gen X, although all generations are certainly welcome. But we're going to be talking about what you need to know if you are interested in either growing your online business, stepping into online business for the first time, pivoting, reinventing yourself, creating new opportunities. And the time is right. So many baby boomers are facing the option of now reinventing themselves and repurposing themselves. And the online space offers so much for us as far as giving us a platform for growing and creating stability and income and relevance and all of those sorts of things. So if you are intrigued by this concept, join us for our daily live streams. Jump into the Facebook group. That's where we'll be coaching you and talking you through the entire process. Whether or not you want to sign up for B School at the end of the day or not, that at this particular junction is not the point. The point is get in, get part of the community, contribute your thoughts, your ideas, your questions to the community, and participate, and just hopefully, regardless of which way you go at the end of the month, you will be far more educated in the world of online business and ready to make good decisions moving ahead. Does that sound like fun?
We just had like 15 people just join. You guys are quick. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, that's what it's there for. I gotta say, April knows I was really anxious about doing the live stream this morning and starting this pop-up group because I've never done a pop-up group before, and we don't do a lot of live streaming on Facebook. We haven't historically, so I didn't know what the numbers were going to look like. And of course, vanity, but also just, you want to make sure you're not just going to crickets. But oh my gosh, we did it with not a lot of fanfare. We just launched it sort of quietly. We sent an email out to the list, so you probably saw it. But we had, how many do we have? 140 people on the live stream for almost the whole live stream, right?
We did, yeah.
And we've just about got double that for Webinar Wednesday. So, I mean, it was pretty good, but they stayed on, which is unusual for a Facebook Live. And we're closing in on 100 people in the pop-up group now, right?
I think we literally just had probably 22 people join.
So
you guys
here's
are
the thing. We have critical mass now in that group. With 100 people in the group, all of a sudden we've got enough diversity and energy that it's going to be relevant. And in the conversations, there'll be that much more action. If there was 8 of us in the room, it could be a little bit tough. But the fact that so many people are interested in this topic, you can tell I'm a wee tad fired up about the whole concept.
Well, and as many of you know, Facebook is not Steve's favorite platform, so that some of that anxiety I think went into it, but it was great.
Yeah, no, it was really good today. The streaming live into Facebook, we used Ecamm as our tool to stream. It was great. We managed to stay ahead of the conversation. It's not as easy to stay ahead of the conversation as it is in a webinar platform like this one, but nevertheless, I think we did okay. But hey, listen, enough about us. How about we get to the topic, Steve, which is behind the scenes of WW118, how we built our business. Now, I framed this to the group in the Facebook Live today in a kind of an interesting way, because the first offering that Marie Forleo gives us as far as training goes is something called the 6 pillars of an online business, which gives us a picture, an architecture of what an online business looks like, what the main aspects are. So she's got this great video, which I first viewed in, I think, 2014, and it really helped me define and move ahead with the business that you're about to see, the infrastructure of the business that you're about to see. But Marie's 6 pillars of an online business, which gives you a nice clear view of it, are profit clarity, which is how are you going to make money, your website, the importance of your website, communications, how you communicate with others, obviously, such as this webinar, list building, the offerings that you're going to offer, the things that you're actually going to sell, and then the marketing. And she puts each of those into a silo so you can kind of understand and see how the entire business works. What we do then, what you have to do is you have to take those basic premises, those tenets of an online business, and set them against whatever your business happens to look like. And it took me a while to get all those pieces in place, but I think we've done a creative job here at Dottotech. One of the fascinating aspects of building an online business is I don't think that there's any two that are the same. They're all kind of their own creations. So it's fascinating to see what each other does. I love it when my colleagues share with me their mechanisms for revenue and how they run their business. It's grist for the mill, and it just fires my imagination. So I'm hoping that we can do the same for you folks right now and get you on board. So the plan now is we will jump into the video. I will take you through the entire, and it's like a lightning round. This is how the Dottotech business is built. While it's going on, April and I will be in the chat answering questions. We'll come back on the other side, and we will spend more time in Q&A and answer all of your questions. All right? So we will now jump into, it's about a 19-minute video, not too long, but boy, I move fast through this. Are you sitting back? Fasten your seatbelts, folks. Behind the scenes of the Dottotech online business. We will go now.
Oops.
Behind the curtains, how we do our business here at Dottotech.
Can I get
so
on?
I'm going to do my best to be as transparent as I possibly can on how we run our business, the good and the bad, to hopefully spark your imagination so that you, if you are thinking about the dream of running your own business or building your own online business, so that you can see one way, one model at least, of how it works. And you will then be able to take that information, extrapolate it, and put it into your own world. At least that is my goal. So we're going to go through a little bit of our content plan, how we create our content. That's obviously an important part of what we do. The tools that we use, the process, and we'll also talk about the revenue streams. And I think some of our revenue streams are creative. Some of them are pretty low-hanging fruit and easy to figure out. But you have to be a little bit creative when you're doing what we do to find multiple pillars of revenue so you have some stability. So no two businesses are the same. No two online businesses make money the same way, build their community the same way. So just take that into account, and there's no right and wrong way. There are some that are better than others, obviously, but there's no right and wrong. If I had to just describe what we do in the simplest terms, I suppose I could say I am a content creator, but I prefer to kind of think that we are in content marketing. And that's really what we do. We create valuable content and help people, and that builds authority. When you build authority, you build trust. It gives you an opportunity to build a community. And if you share valuable content to that community, you create an opportunity to generate revenue. And that's all it is it's permission at that point to generate revenue. There's no guarantees. Philosophically, I think it's important to understand how I look at my business. And I think the most impactful thing that I read or person who I followed in my formative years as I was transitioning from television into the online space was Marcus Sheridan. He's called the Sales Lion. We'll have links in when we send out the replay. He wrote a book. It's They Ask, You Answer. And it's the simplest philosophy. It's almost like a book, and you don't even have to go beyond the title. It tells you exactly how you grow a content marketing business. They ask questions, you answer them. It's as simple as that. And we built our business on that model, is having conversations with our community. So if you think about any form of publishing, it doesn't matter if you're publishing a blog, it doesn't matter if you're publishing a podcast or videos, it doesn't matter what type of publishing you do. You create content, there's comments on that content. You pay attention to those comments, and out of those comments, you create new content that's relevant to your audience. And they comment on your new content, and that gives you the impetus to create new content that, again, you publish content. That is the cycle. It's they ask, you answer. Answer their questions, and you will always be in the sweet spot of growing your business, growing your brand, and building an online business. If you are a content creator, a content marketer, that is the magic sauce. So in my content marketing world, we have, I guess, 4 types of content that we publish. And these were what I'd call my prime networks. The challenge when you're building an online business is there's too many opportunities. You can go into, there's all these other channels of Facebook and Instagram and now TikTok and Snapchat, all of these Pinterest, all of these different social networks that have a certain appeal. And in some cases, they can be your prime network. Publishing to them can be your prime network. But you have to determine what your prime avenue is to your community. So for us, it's obvious. Our number one entry to our audience is YouTube. That's where so many of you have originally discovered me, because of the way we create content and how we answer questions and basically help you handle the pain points in your life. That generates the relationship, the trust that eventually leads you to all of the other parts of our community. So YouTube for me is my prime network. That's number one. Number two is far more personal. It's what we're doing right now. It's delivering these webinars. The webinars are an intrinsic part of the Dottotech business, because that's one-on-one conversations, or one-on-many conversations, but on a regular basis, where I not only provide valuable content, but one of the most important things that these webinars do, I believe, is they engender trust. Because those of you who have been with us regularly know that we are really reliable and dedicated to this platform. We bring you fresh content almost every week, an hour worth of free training almost every week. That's a lot. It might almost be too much when I stop and think about it, but that's enough for you to trust that we are reputable and we are reliable, and that you can put your faith in us, and that our relationship blossoms as a result. The third avenue for us is the podcast. It's one that I've kind of let everybody down on, but good news is we've published. We're back into the swing and back into the routine of publishing the Gray Matters podcast, and that is to a much narrower marketplace. Of course, it's to the baby boomer and Generation X marketplace, but the podcast is another great avenue that we use for content publishing. And then the last area that's kind of my mainstays is publishing courses, free courses and tutorials. In the revenue side, we'll talk about the courses that we charge for, but the free courses and tutorials extend what the webinars do as far as generating trust and building a relationship and creating an opportunity and a base for us to do business, as well as for you to be part of the community. So that's my content publishing roadmap: is YouTube, webinars, podcast, and free courses and tutorials. And when I stutter, when we find our business going a little bit off the rails, guess what I recognize right away? Is we have strayed from publishing to these platforms. It's when we start doing other things, when we start getting away from these core tenets, that we tend to lose our way. And it's easy to do because there's lots of siren songs out there calling and inviting us to participate. But when we fall off is when we stop paying attention to these four. Now, what assets do we have set against that? Well, the main asset is the website. You all have to have a great website if you are in the content publishing or the content marketing space. You need a home base. You need a place that you own, that you can drive traffic to, it's like a Swiss Army knife for marketing. We can host our podcast there. We can host our videos there, even though they're hosted in other platforms as well. But they're the one safe place that we can drive traffic and we can manage. It's basically driving people into your store, into your storefront. It's the location that counts. We also have, along with our website, we have a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, which in our case manages all of our email list, manages our newsletters, and we can also use it as a e-commerce tool where we can have a shopping cart where we can actually charge and generate revenue from. We can create sales funnels with it. Again, a very flexible tool which we invest a lot in, but it gives us all of the marketing capability, all of the marketing chops we need to communicate with you regularly. And all of you here in the webinar, you are part of that. You are in that CRM. That's how you got an invitation to this webinar, as we sent you out an email, and that invited you to this webinar today. The third of the digital assets that we have, which is valuable, is a membership site. Now, it's not a traditional membership site. Creating a membership area, there's a lot of different ways that you can create one. We use Thinkific, our learning management tool where we host all of our courses. We use that as a quasi membership site, but it's a place that we can deliver all of our free course content as well as our paid content. And it gives us a management interface that allows us to manage that community and manage the content very effectively. One of the challenges when you start creating an elaborate infrastructure like we have here at Dottotech, where you've got publishing and you've got conversations and you've got live streaming happening like this webinar, and then you've got these courses that people sign up for and participate in, is you need to manage that process. Otherwise, it's just chaos and you have no way of knowing who's doing what, and you have no way of leveraging that and generating income from it. So Thinkific, for us as a membership site, it creates a great platform for us to bring people in, give them the training that they need and that they're interested in for free, and ultimately charge them for more advanced training as we move along. So those are the digital assets that we have in place. The income opportunities that we set against that, this is where it gets interesting, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 main revenue sources. Advertising revenue. We make money off of our YouTube ads. That's low-hanging fruit. It's not bad for us, but for most content publishers, it's not going to generate the most revenue from them. Next to advertising opportunities, which is where you get ads placed on your videos, comes sponsorship opportunities. That's where you actually have a relationship with the person who's advertising or sponsoring. And that works terrifically well for both YouTube and for the podcast. So those are negotiated opportunities that you work with a advertiser or with a sponsor, and you negotiate revenue. It's far more hands-on, it's far less just plug and play, but that is our second stream of revenue. The third is really the easiest to get into, certainly when you're starting out in content marketing, and that is affiliate revenue, where you recommend products, you review products, you have affiliate links for that product, and when people purchase that product, you get a commission as a result. And we do affiliates the whole gamut. We do Amazon affiliates, so if you buy a camera that we recommend, we make money off of the sale of that camera. And we also do affiliates on knowledge products. We are about to embark in a month-long affiliate relationship with Marie Forleo's B-School, where if you purchase that course and sign up, you get bonuses from us, but we also generate revenue from you purchasing the course. So we run from the really automated as far as product sales all the way through to the knowledge products. Then we sell our own courses, and those are just straight up online course sales, online knowledge sales, digital products, where we teach different topics. And the last is crowdfunding. This is one that's a little bit unique, I think, for our particular platform, and it's because of the way that we built this webinar series out that it's been successful. But we use Patreon, as you know, because I mention it in each and every webinar. We use Patreon, where the community appreciates the free trainings that we deliver, and they step up to support to help us continue to deliver that free training through Patreon. And the crowdfunding does very well for us. It's not something that most content creators are going to be able to access. A lot of people try and force Patreon, trying to force themselves into Patreon. You have to generate a lot of goodwill and a different type of relationship with your community than a customer provider relationship in order for Patreon to work. Now, we've got webinars on almost all of these different topics of how we make money that are in the Webinar Wednesday archive. So all of our patrons, you can go back and you can get far more detail from the webinars that we've come when we've covered the specifics of affiliate revenue and crowdfunding and developing online courses. All of that information is in the webinar series. That worked out nicely, didn't it, as far as promoting the Patreon, as far as promoting Patreon support. So those are the income opportunities. So what tools do we use for that? What are the software pieces that make it all work? From a technical perspective, as far as our website goes, we use WordPress on our website. We host it on a WordPress-specific server. So we spend a fair bit actually just on the server so that our WordPress site is nice and snappy. But we use two main tools within WordPress to make it work. Our page composition tool, or the framework we use, is one called Elementor. I didn't choose that. Liz Azian, who designed our website brilliantly, I might say, she likes to use Elementor, and it gives us a nice framework that we can work in to allow us to compose the sorts of pages and blog posts and all of that stuff really effortlessly and elegantly. It's a great tool, Elementor. And then we also use to help us generate landing pages and to capture and to start the sales funnel process. we use Lead Pages, which is one of the standards for doing that kind of, for landing page creator and opt-in type stuff. So that's how we gather email addresses to help grow our mail list, which is a key component of the online business. As far as accounting and infrastructure goes and in administration, we use Keep, which used to be called Infusionsoft. I don't want to call it Keep. Do you want to call it Keep? I'm not comfortable calling it Keep. We use Infusionsoft as our email management system and as our CRM. We have about 40,000 names on our mail list. We're constantly growing that, but we're also constantly purging it so that we have high deliverability. As far as straight up accounting, we use an online tool called Wave Accounting. It's called Wave Apps is the website. We'll put links to all of these, so you'll be getting links to all of the different tools that we use. We use Wave as our accounting software of choice, along with Infusionsoft. Now, as far as our team tools go, again, we've got webinars on all of this. But Asana we use for product management, and we've got a great webinar where we walk through our entire process of using Asana. We use Slack for team communications. We use primarily Dropbox for file sharing, but we use other tools as well. And we use Zoom for communication. We are on Zoom calls between Liz, April, and myself almost every single day of the week. We have Zoom calls and we're talking back and forth, and we're constantly using it. It's like we have cubicles right next door to each other. Now let us talk about the production tools that we use, and we can begin with the tool that we're using right now. Historically, here for our webinar Wednesdays, we were using Webinar Jam, which is a webinar delivery platform. But lately, we've been using Demio for webinars. We're very pleased with it. It's been working quite well. Of course, you can decide for yourself how well it's working right now. So we use Demio for webinars, which has nice integration with our CRM, with Infusionsoft, and we find to be a great tool. As far as doing promotional graphics, etc., we use, of course, the entire Adobe's Creative Suite and Canva, Photoshop, and we also use a tool called InVideo. We actually have a really nice tutorial video or a product showcase for InVideo for doing promo pieces for Twitter and others. That does a great job of promos for both our videos and for our podcast, and we can use in other areas as well. So that's a tool that we like to use for content creation, and these are really tools that Liz uses more than I. As far as recording our individual things like this webinar, this pre-record that I do, and for the YouTube channel itself, I use ScreenFlow on a Mac to record the main screencasts. We edit them, we do a rough cut of all of them in ScreenFlow, and then Liz takes them into the Adobe Creative Suite, and she uses Premiere and sometimes After Effects and others for publishing that. And finally, for the podcast, as far as audio editing on the podcast, I use a tool called Hindenburg, which is a digital audio editor, which is specifically designed for voice rather than for music, which makes it unique. It's really designed for radio stations and that sort of stuff. Farley is thinking the webinar should be over. So Hindenburg, it's a little bit more expensive than other tools, but oh my gosh, brilliant for editing the spoken word. If you're creating audiobooks or podcasts, Hindenburg is worth a look. So that is a snapshot of the main tools and techniques, and as a matter of fact, a snapshot of our entire business. From the content creation model, how we create content primarily, if you just kind of take a quick little walk through recap, we create content primarily for YouTube, build our authority, build a community, make sure that people have discovered us in YouTube. Once they discover us and trust us, we move them from YouTube into our own system where we can email you on a regular basis and let you know about things like Webinar Wednesday. This is where our relationship really starts to accelerate. You come and you attend Webinar Wednesday, you appreciate the value that we're delivering on an ongoing basis, and now we have you as a follower and as a potential customer. Against that, we have some passive and active revenue streams. Passive revenue comes when you watch one of our videos and we get paid with ads. Semi-passive is if you happen to have watched one of our videos, seen a recommendation for a piece of software, clicked on that link, purchased it. All of that just starts to generate revenue for us. As well, you perhaps sign up for one of our online courses, sign up for one of our other affiliate products, or perhaps support us through the community, through crowdfunding site, through Patreon. So we've got all these different revenue models based on the value of the content that we're delivering. We are content marketers through and through, and we use social media networks in order to help you solve problems you have where we can give you advice and ideas and inspiration. And that is the essence of our online business. And I got to tell you, I love it. I've always enjoyed every business that I've been in. There's pluses and minuses to each and every one, but the freedom and flexibility that owning your own online business gives you, and the sense of accomplishment, the fact that you're creating something out of pretty much nothing, you're helping people, and in reward for your helping people, you're able to generate an income and support your family and your team. It's a pretty nice place to be. I thoroughly enjoy this aspect of business. I get up every morning looking forward to what I can do in this space. And I hope that you might find inspiration in the space as well. So let's jump in and start answering the questions of which I hope there are many. There we go. We are back, indeed. Sorry about all the typos. Yeah, an excessive amount of typos. You can tell that I'm multitasking. We've been getting ready for this, for the Facebook Live and all those other things. So I've just been we've been running, kind of burning the candle on both ends.
Is your shirt on straight?
My shirt's on straight. But,
Okay.
but that was actually pretty funny. Crowdfunding. It was one of those ones that worked out well. I love the Harry and the because for those of you who don't know, I live in Vancouver, and it is potentially one of the destinations for Meghan and Harry to pull out of the royal family and live. Personally, I hope that they don't decide to live here, because it'll be a nightmare. Just the number of people that are the paparazzi and that sort of stuff. But, I wish them well. I wish them well just somewhere else. I wish them well somewhere else. So this is cool, April. We've gotten a new feature in Demio that we demarked. When you guys post a question, we can click on a little button that says make it a question. And now they've added a little option for us to say answer live. And I don't know what's going to happen when I click on that, but I've got some of your questions queued up. So in a moment, I'm going to answer them live, and we'll see it. I might all go to hell in a handbasket. I don't know.
I saw it. It's very exciting.
Well, we don't know how it's going to resolve. We don't know how it's going to work. So we're going to be beta testing it right now live with you in just a few moments. But before I go on, next week we have Webinar Wednesday coming up. We'll be continuing on with our business theme. So we will be talking more about the world of online business. So you will get notification of that in our regular email this week. You're going to be getting a few extra emails from us early in the week, as for the next little while, just for the next 3 or 4 days, as we make sure everybody is aware of this new live streaming series that we're going to be doing on Facebook with our B School Boot Camp, as we're going to be helping with the training. Now, there was one comment. Somebody said, we can't possibly make it there 23 straight days. I know. Wouldn't expect anybody to make it to live 23 straight days.
You'll learn a lot and have fun.
Well, you and I better be, or at least I better be there 23 straight days. But we recognize that fact. The key is that we're generating momentum. We're giving you guys a place to ask the questions. Today's was nearly 50 minutes long. I don't think every live stream is going to be that long. I can't imagine they will be. But we'll see what sort of question, what sort of energy goes into it. It's a voyage into the unknown for us to do a series of lives like this. But the key is to get everybody that's interested thinking about online business and understanding the whole picture. And I keep coming back to this, as we just went through with the webinar, this concept of understanding what a whole picture looks like, because you have to understand that framework to set it against what it is you do for a living, or what you want to do, or what you potentially can do. And then it starts to make sense. It's a puzzle that we all have to work out, and we only do it through understanding. And when I started, I was voracious in consuming information about online businesses, because I had to learn everything. I had to learn what an email list was. I had to learn what an opt-in was. I had to learn what a sales funnel was. I never heard of any of these things. I never heard what a lead magnet was, or any of these sorts of tools. I didn't understand, and I didn't know. I didn't know what social proof was. I didn't understand any of the concepts and terms that now are second nature as I've become an online marketer and have an online business. I don't know where you are in the journey, but there's a chance that we have to cover a lot of that in order for you to get to the point that you need to get to in order to participate or make good decisions. So we're going to give it the best shot that we can. I'm thrilled that so many I think we've got about 60 or 70 new people that have joined the group already. So we're going to be thrilled about that. We will be sending out emails, letting people know, some general emails, letting them know about the live streams for the next few days, but then we will back off.
Yeah, and if you join our group too, you'll get them without being email.
Once you're signed up for the group, you will get them absolutely there. That is a given. And so I'm going to now. Normally at this point here, I would talk a little bit more about Patreon, but we will skip the Patreon pitch right now because we've got other things to do. But I do want to thank all of our supporters through Patreon. You guys do mean the world to us. We appreciate you being here more than you will ever know. All right, so the first question, I'm going to click on Answer Live and let's see what there is. That it does. It pops up on the screen.
Yeah, and then it says finish answering. Very cool.
When I have a finish answering button, but I'm looking here on the monitor and they don't. That's good. So when you started your plan, how did you determine the needs capacity for your tools? What an insightful question, Ed. This was one of the biggest challenges that I had, especially when it came to choosing my CRM. As far as choosing a website and a web host and that, you don't lose a lot if you choose for example, we use a dedicated WordPress hosting service that costs a lot more than a Bluehost or a GoDaddy would cost, but it also is much faster and much more responsive. But you don't really lose a lot when you start out with a GoDaddy, say, to host your site, and because you can move the entire site to another service. That's not a big deal. You're not locked in with a service like that. But there are a few tools that you choose when you choose them at the beginning that it's very difficult to migrate and move away from. It's a lot of work. And the biggest of those is your CRM, is the database where you store your customers and you have your mail list. Now, I began using a tool called, oh, good heavens, how have I forgotten the name? Which one did I use?
I don't know. When I met you, you were using Infusionsoft.
No,
so I don't know.
Before Infusionsoft, I was using, it's not MailChimp.
Are you using FreshBooks or something? Like, are you?
Oh, no. For
are you using Aweber?
Aweber, that's the name.
Aweber, yeah.
Aweber was the tool that I was using, and it was and it's very similar to a tool like MailChimp. There's a variety of kind of dedicated mail list managers that are a little less complete than the full CRM, but they cost a lot less. And they're good. They're okay if you're just going to be sending newsletters, but I ultimately wanted to build a much larger business. So I finally made the decision that I would, before I was too far down the path in Aweber, that I would migrate over and I would purchase Infusionsoft. And I went through a huge decision-making process in that. And there's actually an old video that I've got where I talk about how I made that decision. And I'm going to cut to the chase here. One thing is you can't make the right decision when it comes to a CRM because you can't possibly evaluate all of the aspects. They are such complex tools. Nabi commented that Infusionsoft should be called Confusionsoft, which a lot of people call it because it's so confusing. That's one of the reasons they changed their name to Keep, I think. But
or they're trying to, and what is it? Subliminally get you to keep their software.
Oh, keep it. That's a good point too. But the bottom line is you can never really know. All you can do is go by a reputation and find something that you believe will do the job. And then it's up to you to invest and develop the skills and the knowledge to make that tool work. So for me, it came down to Entreport or Infusionsoft. Those were at the time that I made the decision, those were the only real options. Now there's a few more with ConvertKit and a few others that are in the space. But those were the only two choices. I chose the one, and then I just poured all of my energy and knowledge into it, and I learned how to use it. But I built and bought a more expensive package than I could afford at the time based on the fact that I knew I was going to scale and I was going to grow, and it was the right decision. So I would say rather than trying to limp by with the cheapest possible solution when you're starting up, that if you can possibly afford it, to buy a better solution that you know you will grow into. And your CRM is the most relevant of that choice, is the biggest one of that choice. I'm trying to think, webinar tools and that sort of stuff, you can migrate in and out, you can choose different ones. But your CRM is a difficult thing to move from. It's also difficult when you set up your systems, your accounting system. It's difficult to move from the existing accounting system. So those ones.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Talking over you. No, but I was going to say that, when you finally choose one, it's a learning curve for everybody that just starts out. So just take the time and do a lot of the CRMs offer a lot of webinars and training. Take the time to get to know it and don't give up on it for the next shiny penny, because that's always a problem when you switch CRM to CRM, because you never really learn how to use the one you actually have.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. So choose a tool for the future, but you can also, but most of them, for example, Keep has, they have an entry-level package that you can start out smaller. And so make sure that you're not overbuying the feature set at the beginning, but definitely invest in a tool that will grow with your business as you go. Steve, Dave Kincaid asks, percentage-wise, what's the distribution? And he was talking about when I was talking about our revenue streams. So our distribution of revenue is about 20% advertising revenue from YouTube, about 40% from Patreon, and about 30% from affiliate marketing. And so that's and then another 20%, I think it works out to, from online courses at the current time.
What about speaking? No speaking?
Speaking, I don't do a lot of anymore, and I kind of parcel that out. I don't really consider it part of the main business because I'm trying to scale back on the amount of speaking. Back in the day, speaking was about 50% of my income, but I don't travel as much now. I'm not as popular anymore. I'm just not as popular anymore. It's the baby boomer. It's the okay boomer thing.
No, that's not true.
Diane says, you have a team of people to help you get all of this stuff done. What do you recommend for a one-person, low-budget approach? Well, I was on my own for the longest time, and I think that there's a lot to be said for being a solo shop in your early days, because you then are forced to learn what each tool does and understand it. And so, for example, we were talking about Infusionsoft. When April joined us, I'd already set up Infusionsoft. I know I made some mistakes and I didn't do some things quite properly, but it meant that I intimately knew what the tool could do. I think April would agree that a lot of her clients ask her to set it up, and then they are in the dark for their entire career about what this tool can really do. And it must be frustrating for her because they don't necessarily build their other business systems based on the capability of their CRM. So there are some benefits to being a solo shop at the beginning. But as far as low budget, I mean, it's just getting the tools that you can afford that do the job for you. Anytime that you invest in a tool, make sure that you invest the commensurate amount of time in the skills attached to it. That's the only real advice that I can give you there, is learn to use and leverage the tool.
Right. Fiverr is always a great place too for like graphic design work, some inexpensive project work that you might have on a low budget. Sometimes Upwork too. Is a great place as well to find, especially when you're on your own looking for help. And then, there's virtual assistants out there, all varying kind of skill set and price levels. Those are also a great way to start as you build your team, that can help you with some of the tasks that take you out of your business while you're growing your business.
Nadine asks, why did we switch from Webinar Jam? And the reason that we moved to Demio was in the winter, and November and December of last year, we had 3 or 4 weeks in a row where we were really having poor performance in Webinar Jam, and it was really frustrating me. The video feed was really laggy, and I guess Webinar Jam was just about to revision up, but it didn't help. I still like the tool. I still think the tool is great, and we'd be happy right now using it if we had stayed on it. But over the Christmas holidays, I evaluated and took a look at things, and I had a good conversation with the founders at Demio, and I liked what they were doing. I liked the direction that they're taking the software. I really appreciated the direction they were taking the software. So we made a switch. So, and like everything else, I didn't want to switch for just a couple of weeks. For these sorts of tools, I need to really use the tool on an ongoing basis. We do understand what Webinar Jam does, how good a tool it is, and how it's used. And they've just revisioned up, and I know it's kind of they're back and reliable again, and they are a good choice. But we wanted to spend some time with Demio, so we are going to be using it probably for the year at least. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really pleased with a lot of the different aspects of it. As far as setting up a webinar and the administrative back end of it, it's very quick. It's quicker and easier. It probably saves me 15 minutes per week in administrative details around the webinar. we give a few things up. It's still not quite as good in the Q&A, although this new feature has added a lot for us. I think we will agree. The broadcasting the questions the way it is now, but so that's why we're on Demio. It was an indictment of Webinar Jam in January. I don't think it's an indictment anymore. I think Webinar Jam with the new release is probably back on top of things. Okay, how much can someone make from YouTube's ads? Do you have to create a channel? Thanks. Well, Martin, that's from Martin. Now, there's two, kind of asked two questions here. So YouTube ads, there's two aspects of it. If you are advertising your product on YouTube, it's very similar to what you're doing with Google ads or Facebook ads, and a lot of money is there to be made if you're selling a product. But if you're talking about running YouTube ads on your own content, where you're earning money from advertisers paying to be placed on your channel, that's where we make a percentage of our income here at Dottotech. And that is a how long is a piece of string question, because here is the issue. Obviously, you need to have a channel that's popular and gets lots of views in order for you to have the critical mass in order to make money on YouTube ads. But YouTube ads are a marketplace, like a stock market, where advertisers are bidding on popular properties, much like you would where you'd be. What would it be like? I don't even know what else is a bidding, but it's like an auction place. And so, if you are popular, if your videos are popular, then advertisers are going to be paying more to be on your channel. But it's not just if your videos are popular with a number of views, it's if they're being viewed by the right people. We have so much analytics that if advertisers want to reach 20-something-year-old women, then the people who publish content that's watched by 20-something women is going to be buoyed up by it, and you're going to get a high what's called a CPM, or cost per thousand, or RPM, revenue per thousand views, and you're going to get a high revenue per thousand views. To give you an idea, the RPM on YouTube goes from about 50 cents per thousand views at the very bottom end, gaming channels, that sort of stuff, all the way through to north of $20 per thousand views for very specific targeted high income demographics. Now, a channel like ours, like the Dottotech channel, it appeals to older males. The preponderance of our viewers are males over the age of 40. So that's a very defined demographic that YouTube happens to like a lot, as far as advertisers like a lot. So our cost per thousand views, or our revenue per thousand views, is relatively high on the overall scale. So we do quite well. But if I was doing makeup videos, maybe I do really well with makeup videos, but if I was doing makeup videos, the cost per thousand is much smaller because there's so much more competition, but there's also less income in the demographic that views it. 40-plus-year-old males have a lot more disposable income than 20-something women. Or teenage women that are viewing makeup videos. So that's why I say it's kind of like how long is a piece of string. But it's a fascinating topic, and I think we did a webinar on it as part of Webinar Wednesdays. We talked a lot about advertising and revenue, how we make money on YouTube, and we've also got a course in the
I'll put it in there.
Yep. Where we talk about all of those different aspects. So it's a fun place to make money, though. I do enjoy it. Can you share what you like about Demio for the webinar over the other options you've tried? The ease of use of setting it up. It's a very clean interface as far as the delivery. I love how easy it is to add assets, to roll video in, to roll slideshows in. The polling options work very well. But the integration with our CRM, as far as managing the back end of it, is exceptionally well done as well. So overall, I like that about Demio. What I like about the future of Demio is they're adding some nice features to the replays coming up in the not too distant future, allowing us to do things like have a complete replay, including the chat. One of the things that bothers me about most webinar replay tools is they only show the video and they don't include the chat. And I love having the social proof of the webinar when I have a replay, because I think people gain a lot from seeing what's happening in the chat. You learn how about the energy, you learn about the response of the room, you learn there's social proof that comes as a result. So they're rolling that in as well. So those are some of the things that I like about Demio moving ahead. Would you recommend InVideo as a tool for creating screencasts? Joseph, no, not for creating screencasts, but for creating promotional videos, yes. Screencasting is recording the computer screen as you're creating it, and for that, the only two tools that I like that I really would recommend are ScreenFlow on the Mac or Camtasia, which is on Mac or PC, because that gives us a full editing and full on control environment. Whereas InVideo does a great job of taking videos and allowing us to add the text and the motion and the things to convert them into promotional materials. One of our people, was it Amy, said that she just she created the promos for her new book out of using it. And we love InVideo as a tool.
Yeah. I'm going to put her link back in. That's good.
So not as a screencasting tool, but we do recommend it for promotional pieces. Like if you're creating tweets and that sort of stuff, it's a great tool for creating those sorts of things. Which CRM do we use? Bob is asking. We use Keep from Infusionsoft. That's the one that we choose, and we're happy with it. Michael from Dublin. Oh, I love Dublin. This is a hardware question. What mixer, mic, and headphones do you use? Okay, for me, I have an Electrovoice RE20, which is a studio quality broadcast microphone, which goes in through a mixer, which you see here, which is a Behringer Xenix 1204 something or other. So but that acts as my digital to audio, analog to digital AD converter. So so my analog feed goes through, and I have a in-between piece which I can't show you right now. If you're into audio, the Electrovoice RE20 is a beautiful voiceover mic. It's got beautiful bottom end, just like me, a beautiful bottom end. Don't know why I went there. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. That was completely inappropriate. It's like too much live streaming today.
Definitely.
But it's a little bit of a quiet mic. It has low gain. So you have to speak. So it's the volume's low on it. So I use something called a cloud lifter, which adds 20 decibels of clean gain to it. So that's in line. And so the cable goes into that and then into the mixer. So that's my setup. My headphones are just M Audio, just cheapo headsets. But because I've got a noise gate on my mixer, I'm able to go without earbuds as I do the broadcast. Sorry? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, stop it now. Okay.
You have people commenting.
WordPress hosting platform. Who is it? I'm going to have to research that. Andrew, can you drop an email, send it to info@dottotech.com, and I'll check it. I use one of the people that I outsource is I use a buddy of mine who basically does all of the hosting for us. So I pay for a piece of a server that I share with a couple of other businesses, and he manages that whole process for me. I just like to outsource that, and David troubleshoots if we have any issues with the website. So it's one of the things that I outsource. So I can't tell you what it is, but it's one of the dedicated WordPress ones, and you will know them right away because they cost about 3 times as much as standard hosting. But I feel that it's worth it. Your website is such an important thing, and it costs 3 times as much as cheapo hosting that you're going to be getting from Bluehost or from a GoDaddy. But even at 3 times the cost for what a website does, it's still incredibly cheap to have a good website when we consider what we do with it. You checking out your headset? You were just checking out your headset? Oh, now you managed to turn off your mic as a result of doing that. There we go.
Somebody asked Perry asked what kind of headset I had, and I don't know the brand of it. So then I asked Kevin. Yeah, so. Robert
B says, Steve, you were a loner? I was never really a loner. How did you choose and find the members of your team? I wish I could say that there was a process that's foolproof. April and I met at Social Media Marketing World, and we happened to sit together next to each other at a Kim Garst dinner, and got to know each other, and that was 5 years ago. And Liz came to us through another person who was doing work for us. Jenny Brennan was working for us, and she was doing Facebook ads for me. She's now with Agora Pulse. And Agora Pulse had hired a designer to do some work for them, and I was looking for designer, and Jenny recommended Liz, and Liz just grew and grew and grew on us. So that's how I got my team, my small team in place. It was word of mouth, and it was by networking. And here is a key: going to live events. You meet so many people and you get so many good
Yeah.
opportunities going to live events. So there's 2 live events I'm doing soon. I'm coming to Social Media Marketing World at the end of this month. April's going to be there as well. And then in April, we are going to be speaking at Atomicon, not too far from Dublin, in Newcastle. I'm looking forward to that as well. And we're actually going to be giving a YouTube workshop for anybody that's in the UK or interested in coming to Newcastle for Atomicon, which would be a great conference. We're going to be giving a 2-hour how to make money on YouTube workshop the day before that conference. And so you probably don't have the link to that, do you, April? You'll be hearing about it. We'll be promoting it as we move ahead.
But at Social Media Marketing World, we're doing a meetup too.
Oh, so we're doing a meetup. We're doing a gray zone, a gray beer, a gray. What are we calling it? Gray wave, gray zone, gray something.
Yeah,
we're doing an old meetup. Old people in social media. Amy says, "I know you practice management in Asana. Do you do some in the pipeline and Keep? I wrestled with the flow, whether it should be in Asana versus Keep. I don't even look at the pipeline and Keep. April would be better to comment on that. We try and keep all of our process into Asana.
Yeah, we don't have it linked in. We use Asana for the free version. So we keep everything, all our pipelines are in there, but all of our tasks are in Asana and they don't link together.
For my cooking classes, should I be using a web stream as opposed to just using YouTube? Chef Dennis, I think so. Well, it depends. The live streaming is really valuable in the right aspect. So doing a live Q&A. I was impressed with Facebook Live today. We've always done pretty well with YouTube Live, but
yeah,
we had 140 people on Facebook Live, and it was rocking today. I've always thought that the live stream on Facebook was something that people popped in and popped out of, and we didn't get persistence. But I think if you get the right topic, that it can have a lot more sustainability. But you should play with it. You should definitely try some out. Live streaming is a different feel, but a cooking class definitely. I think really people want to learn to cook when they need to cook. So the chances of them timing and you being a destination, I think that you are going to face some inherent challenges there. I certainly wouldn't give up publishing videos if I'm into teaching cooking. That's where they go. I was just looking at video.
I was thinking she can make some great video clips with in video though of what she's doing.
That's actually Chef Dennis. It's a guy, but
sorry.
You're having real gender issues today. During the live stream, you were calling all of the women men and all of the men women.
I just know it was one person.
Well, it seemed like a lot. It just
sorry,
like
guys.
A lot. I'm a consultant, says Wade. What is the best tool? What are the best tools that you would recommend? Well, for a consultant, obviously finding some platform to publish to establish your authority in. But one of the other great tools, for consultants that we didn't talk about are some of the calendar management tools for people booking your time, and some of them that will integrate right with actual payment systems. So we use Book Like a Boss here, but Calendly and some of those other tools might be real time savers for somebody in your space. And those would be, kind of productivity tools I would definitely take a look at. As far as building your authority, you got to determine what platform you're on. And if you're going to be doing audio, podcast, that's great. If you want to do video, that's great. If you want to do community engagement and just by going into posts in communities on Facebook or in LinkedIn and in contributing or maybe offering some blog post type content, then that's another way for you to kind of move ahead. The only thing about this is as the answers are done, it kind of scrolls down to the bottom and I have to scroll up to find the next one. How would I compare, Bob asks, Thinkific to Kajabi? Thinkific is far more focused on being a CRM, whereas Kajabi is trying to be a far more focused on being an LMS, a learning management system for managing your courses, whereas Kajabi is trying to be a landing page creator, website creator, even a CRM. So Kajabi tries to be more. I don't need all of those other pieces. I've got those in place. So I just want my LMS, my learning tool, to be my learning tool. So that is the biggest difference. Plus, for me, I live in Vancouver where Thinkific is their home is. And so I have lots of contacts directly with them. They host my monthly YouTube meetup meeting for me at their offices. So I've got some other things that cause me to be a big fan of Thinkific. I think that they're both terrific tools, and if whichever one you choose, you're going to be successful. It's up to you then to learn to use that tool and to maximize it. But if you've already got a WordPress site, if you've already got your web hosting down, if you already have a CRM, I think Thinkific is a good choice rather than Kajabi. If you don't have any of those other pieces in place, then if you just want to make one decision, Kajabi might be a good option.
Kajabi's having deliverability issues lately on their email. They're down to about 80%.
Not a good thing.
No.
Wade says, we've already done that one. Speaking, Susan says, of virtual assistants, what's the best way to find someone you can trust with your business content? I don't know what the best way is. I mean, the fact that our crew grew through word of mouth means that there's a certain level of trust already if somebody's going to be recommending to you. Choosing the right service. I mean, if you're looking for a virtual assistant, there are some good virtual assistant services.
Yeah.
Where that you can sign up for. I wouldn't recommend any of them because I haven't used any of them, but there are some where they do all of the screening for you. And here's the key to those services. And I had a good conversation. Oh, what's his name? He's in the UK, used to be in the Philippines.
Chris Drucker, yeah. His service is good.
His is good. His service has a good reputation. But here's why. If you sign up through Chris's service and through some of the more reputable ones, they help you screen to find a VA that works for you. That seems obvious. But the big thing that they do is they train you how to use a VA. That's the challenge. Is that typically speaking, the VA isn't the problem when you have a problem with a VA. Typically, the problem is right here. It's me because I'm not assigning the work properly and I'm not using them properly.
Right.
So learning that relationship, the intricacies of that relationship is the key to that particular equation.
Yeah, we used his service and it was affordable. It was affordable, and it was good because exactly what you said, the process. We gave them what we were looking for. They did all the screening and they came back and then we did the interviews and they had a whole process. Like they had to do audio recordings. It was very in-depth. So it was good. I put his link in there.
Nick is saying Zoom, we're talking about the meeting software, has the option of splitting audio tracks when two people are in a meeting for ease of editing, especially when the sound levels are a bit off in comparison to each other. Does Demio have a similar option? No, I don't believe it does. I use a tool called Split Sides of a Track when I record a video we do all of our video recording if we're going to be doing it for interviews using Ecamm Live, which is our live streaming tool, and it will allow us to split the tracks. I don't think Demio is it. And so Demio wouldn't be my first choice if I'm recording, say, podcasts that I want to split the audio tracks in. Zoom is going to be a better tool for you for that.
I just want to let you know it's 5:02. It's
okay.
The top
so
of the
let's.
hour.
If anybody has to leave right now, we will. How many? We still have 220 people in. I'm going to work my way. How many more questions? I'm going to work my way through the rest of the questions. But before I do, let me promote and drop the links in one more time. So we've got, how many links do we have? First of all, I want to invite you to join in our B-School Bootcamp, which is a Facebook group. We're going to be streaming live each day for the next 23 days, talking about different aspects of online business teaching, encouraging you to understand that. So April is dropping the link in there. It's a group that you have to apply for, and then we have to bring you into the group, but that's going to be where all of the focus and concentration of the energy of the Dottotech team is going to be there, nurturing you guys and helping to raise your awareness. Ultimately, that group the people that are in that group that convert over and actually buy B-School will then move into another custom group with us from that. That's a pop-up Facebook group. That's number one. Number two is, what else? What was number two?
The 6 pillars.
Oh, we have a video. That's right. So the topic that we're talking about as we start is Marie Forleo has released her first of 3 videos on building an online business, the good principles. It's called the 6 pillars of an online business. And that first video is now available. Watch the video because I'm going to be using the vernacular and the terms and the principles shared in that video. I think it's 27 minutes long. It's good, it's smart, and it does create a construct of what an online business should look like and what the key pieces are. And so we will drop that link in. as well. So you can sign up for that and view that video and then use that as homework, home reading for before you come in and join us on the live stream, which will be the next live stream will be tomorrow morning. Or we can drop that too.
Yep, I did at
So
1 o'clock.
morning,
Everyone's asking.
we will be doing another live stream on Facebook Live as we will continue this conversation. So please do all of those things. Keep your eye open tomorrow morning. The email with all of the resources that from today's webinar, as well as the replay, will be in your inbox tomorrow morning. You're going to get a lot of email from us over the next week. So be patient with us from that perspective. There you go. So anybody that has to leave now, thank you so much. Have fun storming the castle. We will take about 10 minutes more and I'll answer as many questions as I can. My throat's getting tired. I've done a lot of live streaming today. And this is from Arexu. Howdy from the 604. Do you know what the 604 is?
I don't.
604 is the Vancouver area code.
Oh, okay.
604. That's how cool kids say it. Any thoughts on the collaboration tool Rike? No, I haven't used the collaboration tool Rike. I would like to hear your thoughts on it, but it's not a tool that I've used. You know who talks a lot about those tools a lot is Mike Vardy. He'd be the place that I'd look if I wanted some feedback on it, but I haven't spent any time with Rike. I'm sorry. Nadine, would it be worth doing a YouTube live if you're B2B? Yes. See, the thing about it is, if you can get the right people in the room, and YouTube Live is a little more business oriented than Facebook Live, I would say. If you get permission to do LinkedIn Live, that would be even better. But the key to B2B is that the numbers aren't what's important. It's the quality of the connection. So if you do a live stream to on YouTube Live and you have the right 2 or 3 people in the room, you're golden, even if there's only 2 or 3 people in the room. I will say this though, if you're doing B2B, think about doing webinars, think about doing online trainings. You can use even a tool like Zoom to do those, and you can have a lot more interaction. And if you are doing B2B, you don't necessarily need the viral sharing of a YouTube, but instead having the conversation tools that you get from a tool like Zoom are far more valuable. So I would think about doing webinars or online meetings rather than live streams if I was in the B2B space.
So if you look on the questions, are you on the questions tab?
Yeah, I am.
So everything, you can see the ones that you've answered are already grayed out.
Yes.
Okay. Because you said you were having a hard time before. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Danielle Lejoui says, I want to design French courses using Teachable. Do you suggest I record the classes and do webinars based on that similar to what you do? I think. Yeah, I think webinars are terrific. If you can generate people coming into your room, webinars are good. The beauty of webinars for any training is this part of the webinar right here, is when you do a Q&A, which means you've delivered your educational content, which you think is most important to your community. But then in the questions, they fill in all the gaps that you missed that your community is interested in. So I like webinars from that perspective. You can record them, and then you can record additional supporting content for all of the questions that were asked, and then you've got nice complete content for your course. So I think that's a great way to do things, Nadine. Or Danielle, sorry, Danielle.
It looks like you have one left there.
Last question, is this our last one?
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! All right, this is from Rhonda. I would like to create educational videos to more accurately show what our in-home senior services brings to clients and families. Would you recommend for basic video, start with iPhone videos and build on our YouTube channel, web videos to archive on our website and YouTube? So first of all, I think that if you're showing your services and you just shoot it virally with an iPhone, that's terrific, as long as you judiciously edit it and make it, spend some time polishing it up to make it look good. But that's a great way to do things. I don't think you have to worry about whether or not it's hosted on YouTube or on your own site. I would say host it on YouTube and share it publicly on YouTube so you get the search benefit from YouTube, but then take those videos and embed them on your website so they're also there. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't be running ads on them. I wouldn't be trying to monetize them and that sort of stuff. And I would make the video as reasonable in quality. And in the description on YouTube, be as upfront as you can on exactly what they are so that people aren't wasting their time on your videos, that you're getting the right people to watch your videos. But in that particular case, I would definitely think that that is a fine combination to do. And that, my friends, is Webinar Wednesday on Thursday for this week. Thanks for spending the time with us. This, as I say, the recording will be on its way to you tomorrow morning, along with our resources. I've enjoyed thoroughly having this conversation with you. Welcome all of you who are joining us in the B School Boot Camp. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really educational. And now I'm going to go have a nap because I got to get ready for tomorrow. And I'm sure April's got about a million things I have to get ready done before tomorrow. But that will be a wrap for today. Plus, I think somebody has been good and should go for a walk. So, till next week, April, thank you so much. Till next week, have fun storming a castle.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.